Greetings, teammates. Chris Anderson here with your June EMI Equipper. For the past few months, we've been talking about winning at what matters most in 2015. And we've been focusing on Jesus' commission to go and make disciples this season. And I pray that you've been able to go out there and find an individual or two who's faithful, available, teachable, and younger than you are spiritually to invest in. But if you're still looking for that individual, then I've got some other advice this month, and that is to go and join another team. Now, as I make that suggestion, I am not encouraging anyone to abandon FCA Endurance. We desire and we enthusiastically invite your ongoing commitment to our mission. We need you, knowing that together we are much more effective at accomplishing our mission than we would be as individuals doing our own thing. No, this advice is to, in addition to FCA Endurance, be part of another secular community, club, or team. Now, why would I make that recommendation? Well, primarily it's because being a part of these other clubs and teams is a fantastic way to build relationships. Remember, part of our mission is to take the mission of Christ outside the walls of the church. And we can't wait for individuals to come to us as individuals or come to our huddle or come to our small group. We need to go to them. And by being a part of these clubs and groups, we have a chance to meet new people. We have a chance to strengthen relationships that we already have. And our hope is that some of these individuals that we meet and these relationships that we have could become those formal and informal discipleship relationships we talked about last month. And so that's my advice. Now, as I make that, there's been a few questions that have come up in the past. I'd like to address those quickly. The first one is, well, isn't that a conflict of interest to be a part of more than one group? And I would say that from an FCA Endurance standpoint, it absolutely is not. We encourage you to be a part of as many groups as you have the margin for, of course, making sure that you can meet the expectations for each group. And most of the time, that's not an issue. Question number two is, well, if I'm a part of different groups, which gear do I wear? Well, again, you definitely want to make sure you meet the expectations that are part of that group. And if you're racing as a teammate for FCA Endurance, which I pray that you are, you've committed to boldly for racing for Christ in FCA Endurance gear in at least one event per year. And so you need to honor that. But beyond that, I invite you to race as you're called. What I can do is share what I've decided personally, though. Since FCA Endurance started back in 2005, I've committed to wear an FCA Endurance jersey in every race that I do. This is kind of the prime real estate in terms of marketing, and I want to make it very, very clear to everyone that I'm racing with that I'm racing for the Lord. I am following Him. And if that's the only thing they get out of an interaction with me personally or as I run by the course, I want them to get that. Now, I have also in the past done a mixed kit where I'll race in an FCA Endurance jersey and Minnesota Tri-Club shorts or other headwear as a way to build some of these other associations with other clubs I've been a part of. And that's been great. But what I have found is that after I've been a part of those groups for a certain amount of time, the people there, they know me. They know who I'm racing for. They know what I'm about. They know that I care about them. And so whether I wear the same gear as them, it really doesn't make a difference. And so then I've been able to really just go all in with the full FCA Endurance kit. And so that's what I've chosen to do. I invite you to do the same thing, but invite you to prayerfully make that decision. The third question I get is, well, Chris, I don't know if I have time to be part of all these different groups. And you may not. And you need to prayerfully discern what you have the margin for. What I found, though, is most endurance athletes do have the time to be part of FCA Endurance, to be part of an active huddle and another group. And that's primarily because most of us train a lot. And so I have the choice. I could go train by myself, or I could come and train with a Runner's Block runner group on Saturday mornings. I'm running anyway, and so I might as well run with them. And you'd be amazed at the relationship building that can happen if you run with someone for an hour a month, or if you bike with someone 90 minutes twice a month. It can be a great opportunity, and so really leverage that training time. The last question that I get is sometimes people say, well, Chris, sometimes my local club or team, they don't behave like Christians. And to that I would simply say, yeah, that's expected. We don't expect people who are not following the Lord to act like people who are. And so as we attend those groups, we shouldn't be surprised or offended when people behave like unbelievers. And that only highlights our need to be there. Remember, we are the proof that the Bible is true. And if they're not getting that anywhere else, they're not going to church, they're not studying God's Word, they might not have any other Christian friends, we need to be there to shine the light for them. Now, that said, there certainly are limits on that, right? So for myself, I have no problem going to a club social where I know people are going to be getting drunk and maybe there's going to be some bad language, because I don't have an issue with alcohol or language. But that might not be the case for you. If you have a history with alcoholism or you have a hard time controlling your tongue, then maybe you shouldn't go. And at the same time, if a group of men from a local cycling club are going out to a strip club, I'm not going with them. I cannot go with them without compromising my personal walk or my witness. And so as you address these questions, I ask you just to perfectly discern, can you do it without compromising your walk or your witness? And if you can, then I encourage you to go. And most of the time, that's a non-issue for a training run or a training ride. And so there's my encouragement for you guys this month, that you would go. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. And that as you go, you're going to find an individual or two that you can invest in this coming year. You're going to make disciples and you're going to win at what matters most in 2015.
All the Christian soldiers marching as you walk with the cross of Jesus.